For 125 years, we've been bringing people together. Today, we'd like to come together on something that concerns all of us: obesity. The long-term health of our families and the country are at stake. And as the nation's leading beverage company, we have played an important role. Across our portfolio of over 650 beverages,
This is good.
low and no-calorie choices. These diet beverages still pose serious health risks. Even though we've reduced the calories per serving, these beverages can still cause kidney problems, obesity, metabolic syndrome, cell damage, and rotting teeth, which leaves 470 beverages which have extremely high, unhealthy levels of calories. Consuming large amounts of rapidly digested sugar and high fructose corn syrup causes a spike in blood sugar and insulin, which can lead to inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which may increase your risk of stroke, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cancer. Coke has also been known to accelerate aging and cause high cholesterol. The American Heart Association recommends consuming no more than 450 calories from sugar-sweetened beverages per week, the amount in about 3 cans of soda. Imagine if cigarette companies said they were doing something responsible to protect you. How would you react to that? Beating obesity will take action by all of us, based on one simple, common-sense fact. All calories are not the same, and the calories in Coca-Cola products have no nutritional value. If you choose to live a healthy lifestyle, then you should not be drinking any of our products. If you drink Coke, you'll get fatter and fatter. The solution is simple, and it's right in front of your eyes. Don't drink Coke. It's killing you and your family. Coca-Cola. We're partially responsible for America's obesity problem.
Yeah. I was just saying, I feel like we should all applaud.
Yeah.
That's kind of how amazing would it be if a company actually put that kind of commercial out? You know, and kind of wake up the public. And there's actually another one I'll show you guys next weekend. What'd you do? So, week 6, I want to welcome all you guys here. I know there's obviously a ton going on, midterms, everything like that. So I applaud and congratulate all you guys for taking the time out to make sure you're here. We've been doing nutrition. Josh is actually going to go over toxins for us today. As soon as we get the PowerPoint and computer stuff freezing. What happens when you load 5 videos on it at one time? Technology is supposed to make life easier. So, basically, any guests in the room?
My first time.
Your first time ever coming to the club? So, welcome to Maximize Living.
Thank you.
Okay.
I worked with Dr. Joel for 3 years, so I've been in Maximize Living for a while now. I'm in school.
Very nice. What quarter?
Just undergrad right now. First quarter here.
Very nice. Well, welcome.
Thank
I'm glad you made it out.
Thank you.
Mike, it is completely frozen.
Okay, Josh broke my computer. So, no, it's never done that before. So we'll get to it. Give it time. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, technology kind of calms down a little bit every once in a while. So then obviously you guys know, as far as our mission and all the 5 essentials, this quarter we've been working on nutrition. We're going to get everyone certified here in just a couple more weeks now. So outside of what we're doing with these PowerPoints and all that, make sure you guys are kind of reading through the book a little bit, the nutrition plan book. If you don't have a copy of it, let one of us know. I'm sure there's enough of us across club that we can get it to you guys. I know I've got one. Tyler, Josh, Jacob, I'm sure all of us have one that you guys could use to flip through for a little bit. So, because what we're doing here in the PowerPoints is good, it's a lot of information, but there'll be some small details on the exam that you're going to want to see out of that nutrition book. Okay. Beyond that, our event's coming up. On the 22nd, we've got Philosophy Night. We are working on where we're going to have that at. Usually where we have it out is Whitney's house. I mean, you guys have all been there before. They're actually going to be out of town for that weekend, doing some family stuff. So we're currently, if you have a place with a backyard and you're willing to offer it up, or you have a really big living room or something, let us know. But we're going to have that nailed down before club next week. Okay. Beyond that, March 2nd, guys. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but it's 2.5 weeks out, and I'm getting flippin' excited about this thing. Okay. 4 of the biggest doctors in Maximize Living coming here: Dr. Joel, is coming to talk to us. Dr. BJ Hardick, Terry Dees, and Chris Pello. Marketing begins this afternoon. Everything is going to be turned in and done. You'll start to see flyers posted all over. We'll be starting class announcements next week. I just hope that you guys are seriously excited about this thing as much as I know leadership is right now. I mean, I even have corporate calling me like, how's everything going? You guys okay? You have enough people coming? What's going on? Because they realize how big of a deal this is. No school has ever pulled this off before, okay? So we're sitting at just over 100 people on the Facebook page. We want 300 there. So literally talk to everybody. You know, whether it's just in club, if it's in your classes, at lunch, whatever. I talked with a couple of other presidents last night. One way is that they're really getting a lot of people there is just sitting down one-on-one, having conversation with people, making them realize, you know, how important this is both to them as the president and also that student as a future doctor. I mean, they're going to learn a lot from these 4 docs. And again, we're not marketing it as a Maximize Living event. It's not. It's a student to doctor event. We want to educate and help this student body as much as we can. It's just our way of serving and giving back to everything that's happening on this campus. Okay.
Can we hand out flyers? Did you decide?
We cannot hand out flyers.
So not like the GTBI flyers?
Right. And I'm going to have another conversation with them about that and just see. There will be the computer screens in the cafe. There'll be a slide presenting on that. We're going to get a table set up out here in the hallway with a video playing of each doctor talking and promote it. So anything like that you guys want to help with, get in touch with Mr. Losby over there. He'll take care of anything we need. We're going to need volunteers. Within the next week, we're going to get a mass email out to you guys asking for people to volunteer for the event itself. All of you guys, pretty much all you guys have been to a makeover at this point. That's essentially how we're running this thing. It's going to be just like a makeover. We're going to have to be there early, get things set up, make sure we have booths set up, handle raffles. So we're going to need a lot of help from you guys. So anybody that's willing to volunteer, start thinking about that now and what you're willing to do, okay? Besides that, March 9th, that weekend after our event, is the Atlanta Intensive One Day. Make sure you guys are getting registered for that. If you have any issues with getting registered for it, come let us know. We'll get in touch with anybody, or you can actually just email Stephanie outright. If you don't have her email, we'll get it to you. But that's literally that next week. It's just a Saturday thing. It's not all weekend, just that one day. And it's going to be huge. It's straight leadership. I mean, they have one of the biggest CEO leadership people coming to speak to us, which I don't know how they pulled it off, but they always do stuff like that. So he's going to be coming, speaking to the students, speaking to the doctors. I promise you, you're not going to want to miss that. Okay. Beyond that, as soon as we get this PowerPoint pulled up.
So I have that one here. I'm not able to get it. Oh, does it start turn on?
There it is. Yep, let's go.
Okay, so
I am technology terrible, just so you all know.
all right, so yeah, there's we're talking about quality nutrition. Yeah, I'll be going through that. There's the events that'll be at the end of the slideshow. Any announcements from the team leader at all?
Good. Nobody's got anything? We're all set? You guys
Just keep talking about the event, guys. Keep pumping it up. Get people excited about it. Definitely.
Make shirts.
There are shirts being made. We're in the process of that.
Shirts being made. It's a big deal, guys.
We ran into a hiccup with it because the way we wanted it. There will be shirts being made. There's going to be $15 per person. Way better than the $35 to $40 we pay for most t-shirts. So $15. We're going to want you guys that week before to be wearing them all across campus. I mean, it just seriously blows up. Wearing every day the same shirt. I want 9 Maximize Living shirts walking around this campus at all times. Okay. So, that being said, Josh?
Yeah, so this last weekend we had 5 different events going on. I think there was like probably 15 to 20 of our screeners out there. We had over 80 signed up appointments for offices, so it was just awesome to see you guys getting out there. The screening list going around, so definitely get plugged in, get involved. And with that, Mike, you want to go to the next one? So for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Josh Wurdemann. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been going through nutrition. Mike started us off on nutrition, or on sugars, why that's bad for us. Then he was talking about fats, the good fats, the bad fats. And now this week I'm going to be talking about toxins. Now for the philosophy buffs in the room, hopefully there's a lot of you, what were the 3 things that BJ Palmer talked about that caused subluxation? Thoughts, traumas, and toxins, right. And so if that was back, if he's talking about toxins all the way back in the early 19 to mid 1900s, how bad do we think that is now? And so there's a lot of stuff out there. We live in a very toxic world. And so, I mean, I could go on this for a long time, but we only have 20 minutes. And so I want, for those of you that don't know that much, I want you to be able to get a lot of stuff out of this. For those of you that know even more than I do and are about to graduate, I want you guys to get a lot out of this as well. And so just when we look at the world that we live in, I mean, we're toxic in so many different ways, whether it's you're storing your food for lunch in a plastic container, you eating non-organic meat or dairy products, using a microwave, your cookware, medication, even tap water, different drinks that we're having. Do you get your flu shots and medications again? Do you have the silver amalgams? And I think the 10th one is just, if you're alive today, that means you're toxic. And so we're going to look at a quick clip from Dr. T.J. Osborne out in California. And just he did this to help his patients, the makeover that he did this last year, learn about toxicity. So if you just minimize it.
Did you pull it up on there?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, back and forth.
We have sound.
Any technology buffs out there?
Where's Tim Milk? Yeah.
Seriously. Dustin, text David. Text David.
Wait, how'd you guys do? What's
All right, so we're having a major flop with.
Yeah, how do you get the sound off? I don't know.
You're supposed to text him, not call.
Don't mind. Playback.
Just want to go back to this slide.
Just couldn't figure out how to get the sound on in the old demo room.
Yeah. All right, so anyways, Dr. T.J. Osborne did this video. It was really fun. I can put the link up somewhere. But basically, he went through his entire day showering, and it was actually a picture of him for the waist-up shower, and it was hilarious. He was just going through all the different stuff we use when we're waking up in the morning. Okay, so the different shampoos that you're having, all the toxic ingredients in those, the aluminum-based deodorants that you're putting on your underarms. I mean, you just went on and on. The foods we eat, the air that we breathe. And so we live in a very toxic world, whether you like it or not. And so the thing that we have to learn is, what are we going to do about it? And so right now, you look at the FDA, they've approved over 3,000 food additives, preservatives, and colorants. So that's, I mean, basically like if you guys all ate me, if I was just 100% pesticides and toxins, if you guys just ate me each year. I mean, that's ridiculous to think about. So, I mean, I'm not for cannibalism, but definitely you just keep that in mind. So when we look at strawberries and the strawberry milkshakes that you see in Burger King, it's like there's no sign of any sort of strawberries, there's no health ingredients. Some people right now, I mean, probably outside of life would think that that actually is healthy for you. And it's like, no, it's not. So go to the next one, whether it's the Lunchables that we have, go to the next one. I mean, can you read all of these ingredients? That's all of the stuff that the kids that either are in school with any of your children, the people that you're going to be around, I mean, all the kids out there right now are eating this sort of stuff day in, day out. Chicken McNuggets, I mean, 38 of the ingredients are from corn. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about corn later. Keep going. You guys have probably seen that picture of the nasty stuff about the chicken nuggets, but I mean, it has anti-foaming agents. I mean, you just read some of this stuff, they have TBHQ in there, highly, highly toxic. And again, this is what most of the United States is eating on a day-to-day basis. So we look at pesticides, and I think this, when I looked at kind of how I'm mostly toxic, I think all of us could probably agree that pesticides hit us pretty big, because it's like we all try and eat pretty well. I see a number of salads going on, that's awesome. But when we just look at in the United States, how many pesticides are actually sprayed on our plants, on our foods, our fruits and vegetables, I mean, it's just horrendous to think about. I mean, there's just so many out there. They're linked to nervous system disorders, immune system, breast cancer, childhood cancer, diabetes, damage. I mean, just, it's so awful. And we're in such a bad state right now. So you really have to be careful of actually what you're putting into your body. And again, I mean, you guys probably heard about the clean 15, the dirty dozen. Right here, I mean, if you look at the top couple things, these are the ones that you should buy organic on the left side because these are highly toxic. You can't just go out and get apples. 98% of the apples that you eat have over 15 different pesticides in them. I mean, it's ridiculous. You don't want to be eating this stuff. Ever notice how all of the apples look exactly the same, the food wax on them? And it's because there's pesticides. They're starting to genetically modify food. So when you look at food dyes, whether it's in the different candies, whether it's in, I mean, you look on any of the ingredient things, there's tons and tons of food dyes. And I was doing some research on it, and it's really, really bad for kids especially. I mean, for everyone, but I mean, there's so many food dyes in there. It's been linked to allergies, ADHD, cancer. I mean, 15 million pounds in the U.S. Of the different dyes are poured into our food supply. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then we go into nitrates, whether you're in the meat. My wife and I were in Kroger yesterday, just walking by all the meats, and it's like, man, they all look so red, and that's all that nitrate. And it's just, I mean, it's been banned in Europe. It almost got banned in the U.S., but they weren't able to. But I mean, look at this World Cancer Research. In 2009, they concluded that processed meats are too dangerous for human consumption. That should be a wake-up, people. So keep going here. Whether it's MSG. I remember when one of my sisters just started to learn how to play hangman. That was one of the first words I started out there, and she didn't like me very much for that one because she had no idea what it was. But it's one of those things that it's like it's in everything, and they're changing the names. I mean, the thing is you can't trust the companies anymore. It's like back in '68, I mean, it's very toxic. I mean, we've known this for a long time, and yet they're making millions of dollars off it. It's very addicting. It's in Doritos. It's in so many different things. So you can keep going, like, I mean, some of the different names of it, it's like, it's in everything. Whether it's like, oh, whey protein extract. That doesn't sound bad, right? Or hydrolyzed vegetable protein, or autolyzed yeast, natural flavoring. Natural flavoring is in everything right now. We don't even know what that means. It's so toxic for us. And again, I mean, it's in so many different foods, eating out. It's even in commercial whey protein. So people that think they're eating healthy, they're not. It's in all the chips. Ever notice why so many of those chips are addicting? It's because that MSG is in there, and it's highly toxic for us. This was from a while back. High fructose corn syrup. It's in a lot of stuff. I mean, I remember seeing one of the ketchup brands was like, oh, no high fructose corn syrup. I look on their second ingredient, corn syrup. It's like truth in advertising, right? It's in everything. And I'm sure some of you guys have seen King Corn. Some of you guys have done some research on that. But, I mean, corn is in literally so many things. Right here, and let's see, it was, I mean, there's mercury in it. They found it in 55, no, what was it? There's a percentage. Where are we at, Mike? You seen the percentage?
Nope.
80%. I'm not on the wrong side here.
First study researchers found
Almost half, there we go, half the tested samples contain mercury. So we're putting highly toxic mercury. The University of Calgary, they put out a video that's been out for a while, and it actually destroys the neural, basically, it destroys your brain. I mean, to put it as simply as that. I didn't understand all of it, but it's just not good what we're putting in ourselves. So this is slightly complicated, but it's really not that bad. When you think about it, we as mammals, we eat a lot of stuff below us. So for that burger that you ate yesterday, think about how much that cow had to eat. And so basically the amount of toxic grains and things that a lot of our animals are eating, a lot of our produce is eating, it has to have, does it have the, it's like 20 pounds of grain for us to get 1 pound of actual meat. And so if you think of all of the actual toxins that are in all the grains, the foods that our animals are being fed, and then we're eating that. And so it's just something to watch out for. The meat, you definitely want to try and get organic. I mean, the more and more that I've seen, watched, you guys really, I mean, is that, I mean, even just going out to, say, Chipotle or some of those different things, that's like all the meat that's out there, it's not good for you guys, unfortunately. And as much as I love meat and love having that chicken and different things going out to eat, I mean, well, do you guys remember from nutrition? It was like 98% of all chickens have cancer, or like they cut. Do you remember, what was the exact stat on that? Anyone remember? Yeah. Yeah. Goldberg. Yeah, it's way up there. And so Mike, the other week was talking about fats and just some simple fats we want to just be aware of. We want that ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Right now, the typical person, it's 20 to 1. And we want more of a 2 to 1 or a 4 to 1. So go to the next slide, there's a graph for us. So right now, here's grain-fed cattle. And so this is the amount of omega-6s, and this is the amount of omega-3s. That's way out of proportion. We don't want that. We want more of the grass-fed beef. See how it's a lot more close to that 2 to 1, that 4 to 1. Any of those animals that are actually grass-fed, it's far better for you. We watched the video for the Coca-Cola thing at the beginning of class here, or at the beginning of club, and just how it's so sad. Everyone thinks, oh, Coca-Cola's bad for you, so I'll have Diet Coke. And it's really not any better for you. I think most of us know that, but the public doesn't. So they introduce aspartame, they introduce other things into the pop, so it's like, oh, there's no sugar, there's no calories, but what else is in there? And aspartame, I mean, it's in a lot of stuff, but it's 150 times sweeter than actual sugar. And you look at some of the stuff, and it's a sugar-like substance. Well, they modify the heck out of it so much that it's not even actually good for you. Not that even sugar is good. So it's splendid. They modify it. It's so toxic. And sure, it originally started as a sugar molecule, but now it's just so chemicalized. This is kind of a tricky one. Xylitol isn't even that great anymore. I mean, it's really tough. Stevia is good, but it's something that's kind of hard to get that aftertaste. And it's really, you have to do your own research. You have to kind of figure out what you actually want to do. You just want to stay away from a lot of those different toxic sweeteners. A lot of you guys have heard James Chestnut come to school. Just talking about it. It's not just your genes, it's the environment. And so, I mean, all the toxicity that we have, sure, you can have, for some of these diseases, you can have some genetics that can affect that, but the toxins that we're putting in our bodies, that we're living in this environment, and the environment, that's going to be way more influencing on that. And so, I mean, it's literally in everything. We talked about this at the beginning. Keep going. So that's why I don't know if you guys have read the Maximize Living Nutrition Plan book, and we're just trying to teach people how to actually stay healthy and to eat the way that we are intended to eat. And so whether it's the core plan, whether it's the advanced plan, really depending on what you actually need, it's all listed out there in the book. I think a picture of it's on the next page. So yeah, I mean, it's a great quick read for those of you that haven't read it yet. And that's actually what the certification test is based off of, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, I mean, pick up a copy of that, start reading through it. That's going to just get you certified, being able to help you explain to your patients, your friends, your family. I thought it was interesting, so often we talk about the supplements that Maximize Living has, and it's like, okay, so your daily detox, even your whey protein, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they actually are really good for you. They're not, personally, the products themselves aren't detoxing you, they're helping your body detoxify itself. And so, I mean, just reading some of this stuff, I mean, it really just does help just with so much of that detoxification, because there's really no way, I mean, after going through all the things, there's no way that you can live without being toxic. And you want to minimize those levels of toxicity, but I mean, you really have to just give your body the best chance that it possibly can. Again, the whey protein even helps with that, to synthesize those antioxidants. And so ultimately, what does every talk end with? What does everything that we do as chiropractors wrap around to? Ultimately, your body controls everything, right? And the nervous system is going to help you ultimately fight off any of those toxins, those things that you put into your body. And so that's what we're passionate about. That's what we're obviously all doing here. And just making sure that we don't lose track of that. Because yes, we're talking about nutrition and we're doing all these things, but ultimately, we're doctors of cause. And what we want to look at is all the different areas that affect the problems that patients are having. And nutrition is a huge one, because when you can go and adjust someone day in, day out, it's going to help and it's going to give them the best chance. But if they're eating like crap and eating the standard American diet, I mean, it's going to be a lot harder to actually make a change. So again, here's some of the upcoming events that we have, that we talked about, but I just really just urge you guys to kind of think, okay, going over toxicity, what's one thing that I can actually do to be less toxic in this world? Because it is tough. There's a lot of information thrown out at you, but it is something that we do have to be aware of, and it is something that we definitely can make a difference with.
Give it up for Josh, guys. Just so you have an idea, that's not easy to do, to stand up here in front of your peers and go over a PowerPoint. This PowerPoint's actually put together for the doctors to do. Josh, what quarter are you?
I start DC next quarter.
Start DC next quarter. And he's already up here in front of his peers, you know, talking to you guys and stuff. Like, that's the type of thing that we want to bring to you guys. If you guys ever want to go over anything, if you guys ever want to talk up here, say anything, come let us know. Come talk to us. We're going to start doing what's called fireside chats, philosophy talks. Anything's weighing on your heart, we're going to give you 2 minutes. Get up here, rip it, talk about it. And that's actually what we're going to go over right now. There's something that happened to me this weekend that kind of got me fired up. Me and Mr. Live, we had a couple talks about it, driving back from Columbia. So this is a video I found. I love Will Smith for what he does and for his passion for what he does. So this is his talk on talent, skill, and success. If we can get sound, we lost all of our sound. Apparently when you have fat fingers, these touch screens don't work either.
Are we plugged into this one or your laptop?
It's John.
Might not work for us here. Unless, like I said, my fat fingers just don't turn it up fast enough.